Hello everyone, it's Jen. It's day 3 of the Valentine Card Series, and today we are making a quick and easy yet beautiful card using the Simple Stories stencil called Hey Crafty Girl. I'm using the Heffy Doodle More Classic Sentiments stamp set from the new release, and also from the new release the Valentine word die, and we are going to get inky with some Distress Oxides to create this gorgeous background that just has this fusion and pop of color. So for today, I'm using the picked raspberry and the squeezed lemonade, and I laid down my stencil here. I did use some of my purple tape and just taped my card panel to the back of the stencil. I'm using Bristol Smooth cardstock, but it's really not necessary. You can use any cardstock you have for this technique, and you could also use any stencil that you wanted for this background. It does not need to be this particular stencil. So I didn't really have a plan for this card except that I wanted to use these two colors of ink and I wanted to use this stencil. So when I started laying down the ink here with my makeup brushes, totally spaced out there for a second, I decided that I was just going to add a little bit of color to each of the hearts, and I was going to add the color to different parts of the hearts so that they didn't look the same. Once I had the yellow down, I went in with the pink. I'm using a bit of a smaller brush here to do that. Now I would recommend using the smallest size brushes or applicator tools that you have when adding small areas of color to a stencil. These were a little bit big, which made it challenging, but they still worked. And I think even one of those finger daubers would work really well, but I don't have any of those. So I'm using what I have here. So I went ahead, as I mentioned, and laid down the pink, and then I went back and added another layer of the yellow. And this is where I'm going to start blending the two colors, and you can see where the two colors meet. You actually get a third color in this beautiful kind of soft orange. So this is a really easy way to create a background that has such a gorgeous look to it, and I love the pop of color that these two inks give with the third one that they create once they're blended together. So I'm going to just finish up here with one final pass of the colors and really blend those together. Now you can see I did not mask off the top left-hand side of the card, and I did get ink on it, but it didn't bother me that much. So to add a bit more pizzazz to this background, I'm using some shimmer spritz, and this is going to give my background such a glittery look, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to let that background dry and work on my sentiment. So I'm using the sentiment that says, "You're amazing." I did stamp that out with the picked raspberry Distress Oxide, and because these inks take a little bit longer to dry, I went ahead and heat embossed that with some clear embossing powder. So now I'm just going to use my trimmer here, and I'm going to trim up the sentiment strip. I wasn't quite sure how long I wanted it, so I just left it a bit longer on either side until I could place it onto my card and see how I wanted to position this and what length I needed it. So I'm going to play with placement here. I left this in so you could see that there's multiple ways that you could add the sentiment strip as well as the die that says Valentine. And I decided to add an extra pop of color with this turquoise cardstock from Heffy Doodle. I felt like it was a little bit unexpected, but it really allowed that word to pop off that background, which is a little bit busier. So I think the fact that I did this beautiful teal color just allowed it to pop. Otherwise, I think it really would have got lost in that background. So for my placement, I decided to have the sentiment banner on an angle, and this just really allowed that sentiment to pop off the background as well, given it was kind of nestled in between that heart, so there was color on either side of the banner. If I had put it across the white space, I think it would have got lost a little bit. Just finishing up with the word die here, I'm adding the dot to my eye, which I left in the cardstock until I was ready to use it because it's quite tiny and I did not want to lose it. But once I get that into place and clean up some of the glue that was around there, I can go ahead and add some sequins. I wanted to fill in some of these spaces on the card, and I love this confetti mix. This is the Soapy Bubble Confetti Mix by Trinity Stamps. It is probably my favorite mix that they have. The confetti is iridescent and it picks up on the colors of whatever you're using on your project, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It goes well with the shimmer spray that I used for the card, and it really picks up on those colors from the Distress Oxide inks. It did have a little bit of a white space to the bottom right hand side of that card. So what I like about the confetti mix is it has multiple sizes. So I grabbed one of those jumbo sized ones and filled in that space, and I think that works perfectly. And there's our completed card today. So really quick and easy, but I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this card. Here's a couple more videos to keep you busy until the next one. Thanks for joining me, everyone, and I will see you really soon. Take care. Bye.